a different opera, and OC was consistently at the top of flash stats for previous Extra Salt rosters. And Junior, I don't know if he has that kind of mentality to get back into the supporting kind of position. With Furia, obviously, it was a tumultuous time for him.
Yeah, well, look, we're getting into this one, Maui. I know I'm hyped. I know you're hyped. Complexity versus Gambit. Bit of Ancient to kickstart this one.
Let's go.
And already, look at this, mate. We've got dualies in play for Nafany. I didn't even recognize that as the dualie thing. I think Hobbit's got a pair as well. JT, the 200 ping king, baby! Opens it up. And Floppy with a response. All right, dual Berettas will come in with a bit of a reply, but a 3-on-3 post-plant. This has got some legs on it.
Yeah, this is looking pretty good for Complexity. They actually are able to get off the bomb site, and now it's up to Gambit to try to scale. They have that single flashbang, and Junior, he's playing close up in tuck, but this is a pretty open position. Finds the Goosh onto Axile, and he actually wants to swing for more.
Yeah, it's pretty ballsy. I mean, you got no choice but to fight if this is where you are, right? Luckily enough, Fang has come in with a reply. They're on the bomb. It's a bit awkward for Floppy. He's got to swing out to stop it.
Oh.
And oh, that kill. It's going to be close, but
there's no time.
There is no time. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my word. Complexity. They pull up. They win the pistol.
The triple from the Flopster. You love to see it. 1-0 start for Complexity there. This is definitely the start that they needed, though. Let's be real. Let's actually reel it in just a bit. My NA bias is out there. It's out in the open. It's in public right now. But I will be honest, for anybody watching at home, this is Gambit's game to lose. They're
right.
Definitely the heavy favorites going into this one. And Complexity, I would say one of their win conditions heading into this game is definitely the fact that they need a hot start. They need to catch Gambit off by surprise.
Yeah, you know, I mean, we need that idea of, like, you know, you being the favorites and getting in your head a bit to try and work against Gambit right now. They've never really been a team that's mega phased by that, and, like, their online performances are unreal, so I don't know how easy that's going to be, but maybe the fact you catch them coming off the back of a player break, off of a major that didn't really have the results they were hoping for, maybe these are all things that could go your way. This round, Complexity, they've got a force buy to contend with.
It's looking like a bit of a 1-2-2 sort of default here for Complexity. They're just maintaining that control all across lane, a little bit towards Cave. The lone lurker in Fang towards mid. Oh, we got a proactive play towards Cave right now. Grim is able to stop one, but not the second. Inters takes him down. JT tries to recover the situation, but Inters has already escaped.
And dude, look at this movement from Gambit. They've pulled everyone over here towards B, so not going to be the easiest battle.
No
Hobbit
way.
with the dual Berettas. Calm down, Hobbit. He's wrestling with them. And, well, that play in through the little cave tunnel just might have secured Gambit around here. The bomb down at ramp, and Axar's going to swing out and put a stop to it. That's a real kind of rough spot to be in. I've never seen the dualies get away with so much versus full-ball players before.
That's highway robbery from Hobbit right there. That is, you can't expect that sort of just run and gun. It's almost like he has an MP9, how fast he's shooting those and how much he wants to move around with them. That is definitely going to rain on the parade of Complexity. Their coming out party right now has been dampened. I mean, Junior still able to forward the Galil, but Complexity, they're going to be licking their wounds after that.
Considering, you know, you were hoping that little bit of money that Junior's now put into a Galil was going to lead to the early AWP, this feels like a bit of a downgrade, and it's already gone. This lane aggression is nice. Ooh,
Oh!
Floppy! Gonna respond with two of his own.
Love to see that from Floppy, showing that they can't just be bullied out of the server. You could see that Gambit really wanted to impose themselves on Complexity in this round, but of course, if you're Complexity, if you're the underdogs, you have to show that you can fight back. So this instills a little bit of fear in Gambit. They have to try to find some way to get back in this one, but it's a free A bomb site right now, and the bomb will be planted by Grim.
Yeah, they've even got JT, like, still yet to play into the round in a very big way, right? He's just holding for a potential main wrap. First contact's made by Axal, and as they try to swing to deal with him, he's uprooted the first two he finds. Fang's here boosted and playing around the bomb, trying to play for time. That's a little freebie onto Hobbit, and Fang's made it a double. Low HP on Axal. This Deagle, oh, it's gonna do it. Fang in the clutch, steals that round away, and Complexity, they come in swinging right back out with a reply. The force buy war's well and truly underway at this point.
Yeah,
and I'm liking the tenacity we're getting out of Cole right now, man. This is This is a pretty convincing start to Ancient. This T side, right, notoriously troublesome. And yet still, they're keeping it competitive from the get-go.
They're keeping it scrappy. This is exactly how you have to play against a team like Gambit. I mean, they have so much structure. They have so many ways that they want to win rounds. But if you keep things just a little bit messy, that can be an in for complexity right now, because they're coming with that little bit of that North American gusto, that sort of unpredictability, where Gambit, even though they're a team that definitely preps for their tier 1 opponents, they probably see this lineup and there's simply no resources to study from. They haven't actually played an official match with this lineup, so complexity, they're keeping Gambit in the dark on what their true game plan is so far.
Good trade work there to get past the opener. Mate, Floppy's having a tear right now, but are they ready for Hobbit? He's going to get shot in the back of the head. Floppy is seeing in 4D right now, mate. It's all so clear. He's never felt like this before, and it's going to leave Inters and Nafany. They still want to give this a look in, right? They force bought up to continue these force buy wars, but they might be drawing to a close now. Inters left running for the hills. I'd love to hear your thoughts, right? So when we kind of look at this complexity squad, it's a lot of star components from previous teams, right? Obviously, Grim wasn't really in the star role in Liquid, but prior to that in Triumph, he was very much the guy you would look to.
Yes.
Fang had an incredible debut in that original Extra Salt squad. Floppy has always been a big-time fragger. And Junior, you know, admittedly, once again, failed attempt in Furia, right? But it was a pretty big gamble. He was very much the star back then in Triumph prior. So, you know, looking at this, who would you say is the star now on this team? Because you've got a lot of firepower here.
You gotta look at Grim right now and think that they want to set him up. They want to build some confidence in Mike and try to reinstill that, because, yeah, like you were saying, on Triumph, he was by far and away, and obviously, the best Tier 2 rifler in North America. There were no ifs, ands, or buts about that statement. It's not even a contentious one at that. So you want to see him be able to get back to that form, because his ceiling is probably the highest of all these riflers there. And that's a probably today, because Floppy has shown a lot of form over the last couple of years. Fang has shown probably the most promise of these players. And Junior, of course, I mean, he's a star. He can be a star in his own right, as most teams want to make the Opper the focal point of their strategies. But Grim, to me, is the guy that has just kind of had the greatest fall from grace, and in such, he also can rise from the ashes in the best way possible.
So you think he's going to be like one of these like Phoenix storylines?
Yes.
Or he could be, right? A Phoenix rising from the ashes. Yeah, I mean, it's certainly promising. And hell, this is a great start, right? No one's turning their nose up at a 4-1 lead over Gambit while your IGL and JT's sitting back on 200 ping. It's showing some promise, but largely it's been on the back of these force buy wars. This is their first real test, so let's see if they can stand up to it. It's going to be a fast cave play. JT just running in, going in first, not afraid to get that info. Not a guy you want left in any clutch scenarios either, I can assure you of that. Not right now. There is this response, and Floppy's now been dealt with. He's kind of been like the big hammer to open up a lot of these sites, right? He's been that guy cracking them open. Putting a stop to him is good news for Gambit.
Yeah, he has been the crowbar of complexity thus far. Nafany playing in a very awkward off angle. This might catch Grim off guard, but we already have a ledge push from Hobbit that's able to take down Junior, and now it feels like complexity are a bit trapped. Even though they have control of that B site, they know that Gambit has cave at this point, so they have to make a little bit of a proactive move. Fang is already taking this long duel. He doesn't quite commit to it. There is a single flash between them, but as the smoke fades, Axile takes down Grim, leaving it just on Fang. He gets it down to a 1v2, though.
Yeah, cave and ramp, these are the points of contact. And Fang, oh man, it's a damn good effort, right? He's isolated himself away from that ramp fight. He's only exposed to cave, but that's where Hobbit swings out, gets the better of him. You know, we talked a lot about Colt. I think it's just because there's a lot more talking points, needless to say. But let's kind of do a little refresher course on Gambit, a little walk down memory lane, right? This team, I really liked, actually, a statement that, like, CASA made the other day, which was, you were talking, I think it was about K23, and you were questioning, like, could they ever become a top team? Because I don't remember who you interviewed, but one of them said they wanted to be a top 5 team, Nealon, right?
Yeah.
And you know, CASA goes, well, you know, you might laugh at it, but, you know, people would have said the same thing about Gambit. Like, this team was formerly Gambit youngsters. Like, let's not forget about that, which is just the craziest story. Then they start to peak during the online season. Everyone's wondering, are they just onliners? Are they just really good there? But no, mate, they've shown to be a highly structured, highly threatening team. There's a reason they sit at #2 in the world right now. And I think, you know, the only kind of dismal mark on it is the results at the major just not going the way they wanted them to, right?
Yeah, it was a bit of a disappointing loss to Na'Vi, but losing to the eventual champions is not really something that you should be too disappointed about. It was just simply the fashion in which they lost. The fact that it wasn't competitive after a very competitive and back and forth CIS derby where they would always trade series with each other's, and then when it came down to LAN, it just looked like Na'Vi blew them completely out of the server. But still, you can't take Gambit lightly, despite the fact that they had some poor performances on the biggest stage. I mean, V4 was a great launch pad from them. They were able to take down Entropic in the grand finals of that. A shaky grand finals, I will say, going all 5 maps. But they still are such a force, and that nade, I mean, that did quite a bit.
Well, they show their head, but that smoke, they go right through it. Oh, Inters is boosted. And they were not ready for that, man. That's like a hard counter to the attempt to get out ramp with that smoke in your face. You know, you're really hinging on just having that element of surprise over the short player, the one guy you'd seen so far. There should be a Gambit round. There's not really too much in it to suggest Complexity could pull it back, and Junior's now running for the hills, just looking to hold on to this orb.
Yeah, we're seeing that the Complexity playbook right now is definitely involving JT in these early rounds, and it is a bit of a losing battle for him to try to go for those. I mean, this has actually always been JT's role in the more recent iterations of Extra Salt, just sending him out first. He's very comfortable being an entry fragger. His attempt rate frequently is above 25, 26% in tournaments for them, but with 180 ping is what I would imagine he's playing from Austin, Texas right now. I can't really imagine that he's going to be winning many of those fights, but that, that 1 5v4 advantage, that can usually spearhead some sort of attack, but losing it every single time thus far has definitely hurt Complexity's chances.
And I mean, now just relegated down to these pistols, right? It's clutching at straws to get away with too much. And the mid-aggression from Gambit is certainly welcome here. It's going to get you a little bit of info ahead of time. Just let you exert this pressure, denying mid-control, like making lane a dubious prospect even. Like, as you're going up here, you've got to be cognizant they can just be hiding out at ledge, ready to swing you. The bomb is still outside of B, so these guys at A are attempting to sell a bit of a fake. And you would have loved some kind of opener here. With that not coming through and Grim forced to just retreat, right? He doesn't want to feed the beast at A. At this point, you're assuming you just want to try and play numbers into this B bomb site. You're probably going to have a bad time. You've got one smoke on Floppy. He's not even really in a position to use it, which is a bit of a shame.
Timing.
Flash timing's a little awkward. JT's going to win that fight out.
That's a nice nade, though. Anthony has to try to quell this, but no, JT, the 200 ping swing works out for him, but Hobbit, he's here to find the trade. Oh, nice headshot from him, but Floppy finds the return. It's just Floppy on the site now. Not able to continue, and Shiro takes him down. 4-4 scoreline. Feels like Gambit have found their footing in this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, since these rifles have come out, it's looked pretty terrifying, right? A lot of these kind of culminating in these little B pops, these little B plays. How have you found the, I almost called them Extra Salt. Damn, it's going to take a while to get used to the sudden rebrand, but how have you found the Complexity B take so far, Maui?
So far in this game, it's been okay. I mean, I think that this is a little bit, the scoreline right now is more of a symptom of the fact that Complexity was able to keep things hairy early on. I'm not sure if they've been too strong. The cave take, once again, looks like it will be started off by JT. I'll say that the trade procedures have been great for them. That's something that you can seemingly rely on. Floppy is one of the best trade fraggers in North America right now, so there's nothing that he can't do in terms of evening it up, but you do want those 5v4s from time to time, and that seems like it's been a tough ask for JT.
Yeah, I mean, I guess this entire tournament is going to be a real test of trade work for Complexity. If their plan is to use JT how they are right now, which is hey,
okay, that's what we're talking about.
Dude, how do you beat Hobbit on 200 ping? I mean, like, this guy's terrifying. And that's it under normal conditions. All right. Now as they go in, JT once again going first. He gets the info. There's a guy up close, and they're caught with nades out. I think at some point you've got to just anticipate immediate trades, right? If JT's the guy you find, you know that a second player is going to be right there to try and trade off the back of him.
Oh man, Axile pushes out Donut to find Fang in the back. And now this is forcing Complexity to speed up towards ramp. They are making their approach, but Nafany sits in the smoke. Grim seems to have a feeling that someone could be there, but he has to clear so many angles out, he can't linger on that idea. Junior, he's going to punch in those digits, but the flash is already here. Gambit, they want to strike before these players can even set up. Nafany catches one as the smoke fades, and Shiro takes down Grim as well.
Man, it just feels so restrictive, like so oppressive, the way that Gambit play these B retakes. They don't let you get comfortable, right? And you can kind of see what that's doing. You know, it forces you to take these. The B bomb segment, it feels so open and at the same time so claustrophobic. You can't actually move anywhere when you're behind that pillar. And so if you're not being given the room to escape, man, it feels rough. Like you're relying on some crazy, you know, like 2K swing, and that's not going to happen versus a Gambit when their procedures are looking so tight, so drilled. It's nice to see they've come back from the player break, you know, showing good form right away. I don't know how you found the Astralis game the other day, but it did leave me wanting in a lot of respects.
Yes.
And I was worried about some of these teams, you know, like maybe having those slow starts that aren't terribly uncommon.
Oh man, Floppy, he takes the first duel this time though. And Hobbit falls. Now, you can see that this is forcing a little bit of a Jaguar push from Gambit, or at least Inters just slots himself rather forward there. Now, Axile is going to have his work cut out for him, as it looks like Complexity are just executing onto the A site.
Yeah, he's waiting for it. Like, dodges that flash, just tucks himself into Donut, and then he disappears through their own smoke, trying to use it against them. I like the idea from Axile. He's doubled up. You like to think he's done his part, softening them up for the nades. And I mean, these are the kind of protocols you can expect out of Gambit, right? Knowing that those players were trying to cross the temple. That's a very purposeful nade. They're holding for Floppy's flank, and so that's red. That's accounted for. And JT can't get anything done in the 1-on-3.
That's a tough pill to swallow for Complexity. You had the opening pick towards B. You were going into an execute there, and then the lone A defender in Axile just finds two. It doesn't even look like the flash quite caught him entirely, and that's just a tough round for Complexity, because that really does satisfy some of your win conditions. Just find the opener, group up, hit a bomb site together with a set piece right there. That's pretty much actually quintessential JT calling right there. Just a light default into a set piece, and if that's not working out, then you have to rethink a couple of your procedures at that point.
An all too familiar scene in this round now, right? It's back to these pistols, back to one of these B plays. The double smoke maybe gives you a chance to eliminate some of these angles, right? And if you can get in quick, that's really the main thing. If you can get in while the going's good and the smokes are up, that spot goes both ways. You know, that's how you're able to deny this very oppressive B pressure that we're getting out of Gambit. Here are the smokes. They're going to arrive. They're going to remove this player at long.
Oh, that one messed up.
Oh, hang on, no, I think this is Inters' smoke himself. I'm pretty sure he underhanded that, I swear. Yeah, it's blue on the minimap, mate. That's a Gambit smoke right there.
Yeah, it was from, I think it was from Nafany. He threw a little jump throw actually for it. But either way, Complexity have the sight, and Floppy finds the headshot. Okay, there is a real opportunity for Complexity in this one now. This is a huge fight. Oh, the double swing comes out. Junior takes Hobbit down. Now, Shiro is still posted with the op, and he's slowly encroaching. He might have to think about saving this one. There are too many bodies on the site at this point. Now, Floppy is considering the swing. Great nade from Axile, and Shiro decides it's his time to strike, but Junior, immediate with the trade. Grim takes down Axile as well, and Complexity just stole one there with nothing but deagles and a couple of nades.
Yeah, you know, it might have taken me a while to realize what you meant about the missed smoke.
I think it was supposed to land towards
it
ramp.
was meant to be, you know, smoking off the
pixel.
ramp entrance. Yeah, dude, no, I didn't actually catch it till I realized, you know, where that rotator player was in Nafany, like lobbing it over. That is a little rough. It begs the question, like, if that comes in, suddenly you don't feel like you have all that space to play around. Complexity, they do a good job of capitalizing on that one moment, that one little unlikely miss. Shiro's keen, though, to turn the clocks back and remind us all how Gambit chain these rounds together, fighting at lane. This is a great position for this AWP, and Shiro, out like a light, mate. He manages to elude capture, moving through that cave smoke.
This is going to be a desperate round from Complexity. It looks like they're going for the smoke phase. towards the ramp. Oh, that smoke is perfectly timed from Nafany. There's pretty much no hope for Complexity in this one at this point. Just too many angles to clear, and going through a gray wall is never going to make things easy. This is a clinical round from Gambit, kicked off by Shiro. I mean, CASA on the desk was asking for a little bit more aggression from Shiro. I was too. I mean, I think that most people, that's kind of the narrative around Shiro. Maybe he's just a little bit too passive, but he is not afraid to flex his muscles in this game thus far.
One of the things I think that's so interesting about that discussion is, like, it feels like Shiro became more passive over time. I remember, like, earlier on, I don't know if you remember this, but, like, I can't remember exactly what event it was, but one of the first, like, debut times where Gambit started to pop off, we had, like, all these phenomenal clutch moments out of Shiro where it felt like he would so gladly play into, like, a 1v2 or 1v3, and admittedly kind of relied on some overpeaking from the opponents to kind of, like, give him the second win to give it a go. But he is a phenomenal player when he isn't afraid to take those openers. And so that round there, if we can get a Shiro that's a little more like that, trying to be a little more proactive, getting involved from the offset, it's an exciting prospect for Gambit, terrifying prospect for Complexity, obviously.
He could have left right there also, and he just decides to repeat.
Yeah.
That's one of the best parts about it. I mean, it's usually the single piece of utility. Shiro falls off. I think Jame also suffers from that same kind of just self-preservation kind of tactic, and then he goes for the second, and that finds that 5v3 opener. At that point, if you're Gambit, you're not losing that round. You know, most world-class teams at that point are going to completely secure that. So finding that second one with the repeat, it's what Surson was actually doing in the previous map when Big were playing. That he just would go for that second swing, and then right there, the round is done and dusted. Everything after that is practically a formality.
Oh, we got this Hero Warp in the hands of Junior. Exciting prospect, but will it find anything? The way that they play this A bomb site is, you know, very ratty, through lack of a better word, right? It's a lot of temple angles, a lot of these crossfires. And that shot from Junior, little ugly. Oh my god. That's one man tearing through Complexity. Axel single-handedly from the back of default, just taking fight after fight. Not even like you can say, yeah, it was just pistols he's up against, mate. Like, nope, there were 2 AWPs bearing down on him, picked up, thrown over, still couldn't make it work. And, you know, I think Gambit were probably already feeling confident coming into this. When you get the news that there is one player who couldn't make it due to visa issues, like, I bet that only pumps you up more. Not that I'm saying that's why we have this scoreline, but I bet it's going to let you play with a little more freedom than perhaps you normally would.
Absolutely. And the fact is that as the top 20 list rolls out, you just get a little bit of a morale boost every time one of those articles is out there. You honestly just see that. Your eyes light up. Everybody's patting each other on the back for a job well done from a incredibly successful 2021. And it's not done yet. There's still another guy that has to pop up on that list for them. And he still has to make a big imprint on this game, or at least he is making an imprint on this game. That's Shiro. So 8-5. And Complexity going for a slightly slower approach. Gambit aren't actually testing the waters as quickly as they have been.
Yeah, they've taken this cave control, and for once, it hasn't involved sacrificing JT to get it. Right, just clearing out inters with a molly. Taking this away early. Looking over towards A, you can see Axel moving into Donut, maybe going to look to take the reins of middle away from Shiro, open up that path to a rotation. If they start to feel like this is the B play, which, you know, Complexity don't have map control anywhere else, their hands feel a little tied here. And so this is the execute coming in, going over, short smoke in, long smoke in, Molotov for Ninja. Push right away. Flashes now, rain over the top. They were ready for Nafany. They were all looking at it, but assume it's clear. The boost again, this time doesn't quite find the results. Grim will get that bomb planted. And a 4-on-4 ensues. Exile's still a long way away. Gambit probably going to wait for him to get here. Give time for these smokes to fade as well. But finally, Complexity have had a chance to back up into these post plants, right? Play around that bomb a little bit more. Floppy out here at the top of ramp is in a position where you have to fight short angles. You have to fight this short player. He's actually going to swing it wide, out into the open, and he takes one to the grave with him. Complexity very willing to fight in that post plant.
That's what happens when Gambit actually respect their opponents. We've seen so many proactive, aggressive plays from Gambit. Finally, they want to play a more retake style. The counter utility, though, might have been just a little too much. It was a lot of nades being sent in the way of Complexity. It seemed like they wanted to actually make their stand on the bomb site, but after expending all that utility, Complexity, they still had more left in the tank. They were able to scale, they got on the site, and by the end of things, Gambit only had a single Molotov to attempt that retake with. That's just not enough utility. You need some flashes, you need some smokes, and I'm sure Gambit know that. I don't need to tell them that, but they also did make the error of either not committing for the site stand or just playing for the full retake. Oh man, Shiro.
Okay.
This is that aggression we wanted.
Yeah, right. Not afraid to re-swing, not afraid to fight. Flashed off the angle, but still very much a threat. Tucked in now onto the Deagle, and a missed shot will come back to haunt him. That's a nice kill on the spam from Hobbit. At least reclaiming this even odds bout, dropping the bomb as well and buying you a bit more time. Junior, shotgun AWPing. Woo! Axal's come through! Oh god, the alarm bells are going off! And JT, not the man you want last alive, can't react fast enough. It's a 9th for Gambit to close out this first half looking good. But a 6-round T-side, you know, that's not the end of the world. Ancient has shown itself to be a pretty rough map to build into over here.
That is not a half that you should be upset about if you're Complexity. You're probably a little bit upset about how that last round ended, but at the same time, there were so many moments where it felt like Complexity maybe could have had a little bit more footing in this game, but Gambit just withstood and withstood. They were standing so tall on those sites, especially those A-holds from Axile. Those were so powerful. Either way, I think right now that Complexity, they're definitely comfortable with this. This is their pick after all. This is a map that they should have a strong CT side on, but it needs, or it should start with this pistol. They're playing full retake on A. They're okay with this. I don't know about this. Do they have a kit?
Yeah, I don't think they do.
Oh,
That's
no.
a little bit concerning. That's going to leave you with very little time. And as we all know, getting on a bomb in this A-bomb site with no kit sometimes feel like a death sentence. With Fang already dead, certainly leaves this one feeling good for Gambit. There shouldn't really be a way back in. Dual Berettas on Junior. Yeah, he's got plenty of bullets, but plenty of targets to match that with. And they just all swing him together, looking to trade that out. Yeah, a bit of a head scratcher there. The A retake setup without a kit in play certainly leaves a little to be desired.
It's almost like they just didn't believe that was a possibility for a strat coming out of Gambit. But love this little push from Hobbit. He imposes himself there. Look at the smile on his face in that picture right there.
Dude, he's always happy. Hobbit's always happy, man. I
love it.
Some players you interview, you don't get a lot out of them. With Hobbit, I know I'm always going to have a good time. He's just, he's a genuinely lovely dude.
Yeah, and he's pretty real about it too. He saw the possible faults in their potential land play coming, and I mean, he is an incredibly grounded person. He's kind of a cutie too. He's got the whole package right there.
Yeah, no, he truly does, and like it's really cool when you think about like that old Gambit roster that won the PGL major in Krakow all the way back in 2017. Like this guy, the only one from that that's still like making consistent runs, still blowing up, right? Still increasing his stock value.
That was my favorite lineup of all time, actually.
Yeah,
that was one that really sucked me into the whole. I don't know.
They had everything, didn't they,
yeah,
man? Like,
I just love them.
You had Doja in there for the sex appeal. You had
you had a high ping warrior and a Dren on that roster.
Yeah,
I mean,
oh man,
that was someone I could aspire to because I was playing from Hawaii when I was, playing in Premier. So
not quite 200 ping king, but
a high ping king.
Yeah,
an Eastern European king. All right, we got a little bit of a stack here on the site, but it looks like... Oh, okay.
Oh, my God. Hang on a second. Stop the presses. Hobbit's dead as well. Floppy, USP, mate. You can't do this to them. Oh, Shiro will get it over the line. But that's a USP stack, removing 4 Gambit players, almost taking the round.
That goes so much better than expected. And this sets up Complexity, even though they obviously would have wanted to win that round. This sets them up beautifully for an economic reset on Gambit. You can see that right now, if you look at the money for these players on Gambit, they are hurting. That was not supposed to go like that. That was a round for them to farm so much cash. And at this point, this is an important round. This is an impact round.
Yeah, I mean, it's not every day the CT side have this ability to just wreck the T side money from the get-go. Little fight, a ramp breaking out. Oh, bad timing on the Naples for Nafany. Expecting maybe a bit more respect. If Floppy's showing us anything so far, it's that He don't respect anyone or anything.
He makes that abundantly clear with his personality. Sigma grind set. He's out there. Yeah, that was a pretty dry swing there towards Cave, and it worked out for him. Maybe a little bit of a read. I'm sure that this team, this Complexity team, has prepped heavily for this matchup. As soon as they knew that this was their draw, they studied the tendencies immediately. That's not just, it looks dry on paper, but it's one where you actually probably have to give them a little bit more credit for it than most would. It's not just some NA swinging.
Well, man, I mean, like, let's be real. You know, I think out of all the teams here, this is the the toughest draw you could have had, right?
Yeah,
especially for a brand new team.
Absolutely. But all of those extra resources, all of the Dallas Cowboy funding, that went into that swing right there.
That's a $20 million swing right there, baby.
if I do say so myself.
Right, look, we got this. Oh, I like the lane aggression, but does Shiro like the lane aggression? Something tells me he don't. He's dead to it, and now they know it's the A play. They were already rotating ahead of time once Floppy had called, like, mate, there's no one here. No one's outside of B. And so that's a very well put together round for Complexity, and you kind of highlighted the importance of it coming in. Well, now it should be abundantly clear when you look at those Gambit bank accounts.
It's not too pretty for Gambit. Not a lot left in the coppers, we'll say that. They will force up in this round, try to maintain some control of the economy here, but we can see that the money for Complexity is ballooning. They are actually in a position where they can really push this CT advantage. Hobbit's going up very quickly, though. Fang, he's up on the ledge. He should have heard that.
Yeah, he's at least been able to give this info to Floppy, right? Oh, and then goes one step further, winning the opener. Floppy, I'm loving having him back in the server.
Yeah, he's so confident.
Yeah, exactly, right? And it kind of amazes me that that's, like, never faded, right? It's, if anything, he looks more confident than ever at the moment.
He's playing much... Oh, okay. Well, this might turn on its head. Axile, that's a timing right there. Oh, he can't complete the kill.
Oh! Okay, Junior. All right, bud.
That's not bad.
That's quick indeed. I mean, man, like, this is the guy who famously, right? There's that Dust 2 game where he's up against, I think it's Liquid and
Ingoose.
And Ingoose, right? AWP fires the AWP with something like 0.02 seconds of error in between. Like, he is a phenomenally quick player. And I think a lot of people forgot that after the Furia move because, let's face it, it was a huge gamble. Either it was going to work spectacularly, bolster his value, or, and I think the more likely option when you have a whole team having to learn English just to accommodate this guy, I say learn English, obviously, the vast majority of that team do already speak it, but you get what I mean.
Yes,
it's very different to start comming in a
them.
different language,
Yes.
right? You know, it felt kind of doomed to fail in a lot of ways. And I think it's led to people really underpinning like how good Junior was when he was in his prime. So if we can get that back in this Complexity squad, I don't know, man. I think it's very exciting.
Yeah, I'll say, for people that don't follow the Tier 2 NA circuit as much, Junior has been phenomenal for Bad News Bears. He's been actually, statistically speaking, he was better than OC in, I think, the most recent season of NA Premier. So there's definitely a guy still that's going to be behind the scope that will be taking and ripping lives apart. He is still an incredibly talented player. It's just about finding the right fit right now and regaining that sort of confidence on the Tier 1 stage. There's a Glock running down JT, but he's able to recover in time. And that's 5 alive for Complexity. That money we were talking about earlier, it's looking really good for them. And Junior, he actually has been able to find the op. And scoreboard, though, Floppy is doing an excellent job. And the thing about Floppy is that he takes a lot of the poor rolls, too. He's actually one that thinks that if he sees a roll and it looks easy to him, he's happy to take it. Be anchor on Dust 2, oh, all I do is jiggle and throw a flash, right? That's it. That's my whole job. And he's willingly doing any of that.
No, but that's nice, right? Because then, like, in this conversation about, you know, you're hoping that this is the roster that can elevate Grim to that, like, to the promised lands, essentially. You know, having someone like that in the squad is only going to be beneficial. Gambit here, making their way out through lane, also splitting through the bottom of mid. Hobbit playing around the smoke. Nafany deploying a boost to look into cave. Hobbit is going to win his opener. Fang on the receiving end of that. If JT tries to plug this hole, well, he's set up nicely by that pop flash over the top. So actually, he gets out scot-free. There was a lot of room for him to get punished there.
That was not a bad procedure. That flash from Junior was everything. Floppy, he's been showing so much confidence so far. Goes for at first the dry face, but then decides to expend his smoke. And now Junior still has his ramp angle under control, but it does look like Gambit might be feeling out their options just a little bit. Axile still just poking and prodding towards middle, but he's falling off the angle.
Yeah, that bomb is heading over towards B, but in this exact moment, Floppy has pushed down ramp. Shiro, he might elect to check this because they haven't had the lane control for just a few moments, but I still don't think you believe someone's hit this timing on you. And Floppy's going to peek it ahead of time. Now, it's only one, but that's the bomb spotted, and it's a dink to Axile. Suddenly, Inters has to do a lot of the heavy lifting here on this push out through Cave. And with everyone having peeled over already for Complexity, they're in the right place at the right time. The lack of utility going to burn you a little. You would have loved to have just naded out this bomb plant and put a stop to it. That wasn't an option, but you know you've got Axile trapped behind the pillar. I say that. I think they anticipate it's the phase plant, the wider one.
Oh, they're taking the smoke. That's a 1-for-1.
Dude,
now
he got one in that? Holy hell. Axile. Okay. Intel's just playing around the bomb. It's planted for him, I mean. Junior is going to check this. First man dead. Junior needs to combat up him out of the round, and Inters is just toying with him. Oh, it's the shot from Junior. And even though it's close, Complexity have still got it. 10-11.
Yeah, that is a mega round for them. That is so much confidence. I mean, the push down from Floppy right there, the dry push to take down 1.5 players, that's a big time play. That's a massive, massive boost to the spirits right now in the Complexity camp, because that could have been a round that really turned this game on its head. The money was still decent for Complexity. It wouldn't have been out of this one, but it's one where when things get tight, you usually expect that the team that comes out on top is the higher ranked team, is the better team overall.
Right.
And yet, Complexity were able to withstand that, and that's with losing the first pick at middle. That's a huge victory.
Oh, well, Grim is about to get tested in a pretty big way. And with him melted immediately from the get-go, this is a bit of an awkward round now for Complexity. You might start weighing up your options here. If something doesn't present itself right away, this might not even be a round you attempt to hold on to. I like that, like feigning the plant in the smoke and also replenishing his donut smoke, right? Still letting him get that bomb down out in the open. And Complexity are grouping. 3 in CT, 1 man moving in from Donut. They win that first fight. JT, the man to open. Hero gonna get caught as well. Complexity, they lost the A anchor right away, and they're coming in with the retake. Now it is set up for Hobbit to win the round. It's planted for him. They try to get on the bomb. They try to stick it, and Hobbit with the mow down finds them all. It is a damn good attempt from Cole, but sometimes, mate, Hobbit, he's got to put that smile away, put his game face on, and that's the kind of stuff he can get away with.
That is a huge shocker to Complexity right there. 3 versus 1. They had a smoke on the bomb, and Hobbit sprays them all down. That is a round that Complexity, they just lost information on this guy. He slipped the net into the donut, and at that point, they were going for the trade. They were desperate for it, but they couldn't quite find it. Fang early on. Hobbit continues the confidence, but there's a trade via utility as Junior takes him down. Now Floppy, he's found so much success with these dry peaks, but he might meet his maker here.
Yeah, this is like, oh my god, they're so close to one another. There's one. Oh, there's two. And the fact he gets away with a double there, that's already far more than you should be getting away with. Sure, they weren't ready for it. You don't expect it, but that's how the flopster gets you. JT will get melted in cave. We're left in another one of these retakes. This time, Complexity don't want to let it fall apart. All right, Shiro, bud, sure thing. Little plant, it's not entirely for Cave, so you're going to have to swing on out from there. Shiro knows that. Elects to fight in the site, and now they go looking on the short side for Grim. They find both. Shiro alone at Ninja, tucked in. Grim's got him trapped, but Shiro is clean, man. 4 kills from this guy. And it's another big individual performance to keep Gambit in the lead.
Complexity right now, once again, they have the man advantage, but they're unable to close it out on the retake. Huge round from Shiro. He found so many of these frags. The trade frag onto Floppy, the 1v2 on top of it all, and he had to hit that headshot against Grim. He was tucked into a corner. If that's a spray battle, he's not coming out of that one alive. So great performance from Shiro here. His rifle on this T side has been fantastic.
It really has, man. We've seen him elect to do a hell of a lot of it. Just looking like a very confident Shiro across the board, right? More than willing to take fights, whether it's with the AWP, whether it's with the rifle. Like, he didn't even back up and go for the cave. Like, I mean, admittedly, he wasn't the best cave post plant, but I felt like the old Shiro, like the Shiro I know, the Shiro I'm used to seeing, he would have just played the numbers game, played the position that he was originally in.
Yeah, they may have instilled some confidence in him. Don't want to see a confident Shiro if you're on the side of Complexity. Early util damage, and yeah, there we go. Shiro takes down Fang, going for the mid swing, trying to find some space, a little bit of control, but he's punished for that. And Gambit, they're in a really prime position to put a chokehold on this game. The money is terrible for Complexity. This is a round that Cole forced up into. Gambit, they don't have much money either, so this could be a potential swing round, but you would love to be the team that has the greater firepower, the better utility.
Yeah, it's not by design, that one.
Not quite sure about it, yeah.
Creeping out through mid. Bomb retrieved for Nafany, and he's going to lean towards A main. Bit of a shame, considering we got that double cave set up, right? Might never even see the light of day. Grim's A anchoring felt, you know, admittedly, not an easy place to find yourself, but a little underwhelming so far. And with him here, essentially all alone, now that Junior's been cut off, he's just going to get run down. That CT smoke blocks Junior out at the worst of times. And there's Shiro to close, as these players from Cave were hoping to get involved. It's a good thing they chose that exact moment to turn back. Sadly, this Deeg armor and MP9 armor, the only thing that's going to feature in this next round for Complexity. And at this point, I imagine they're probably just forced by until the end of time.
These A-pops from Gambit have been really deadly. Grim's been having a tough time dealing with it. And I guess we can go back to the point earlier. I thought that Grim was probably going to be set up to be the star, but I'm noticing more and more that I think it's Floppy. Usually the strong rifle presence for any team is situated towards Cave. And, I mean, we're seeing some of that ability right now from him, but it's all for naught. If he can keep this AK, that could lock down that position. Oh, he goes for the swing. Shiro, he's so quick right now. But man, Floppy on 27.
Top of the server.
Yeah. But you're getting a more balanced performance from the side of Gambit.
Yeah, man, I don't know. Oh, he's even gone for the hero M4 play. He's got that right. Rest of his team, what are their purchase options looking like? They're not even going to elect to force around it. And I wonder where Floppy... Yeah, so he's just going to lean
just
back
to go
to
Cave,
B.
I'm sure. He just wants to lock that down. Okay, no, he's... All right, well, Shiro is going pretty quick into the donut right now, and they're just avoiding the M4 entirely. Junior's able to take him down. But, oh, wow, what a shot from Axile. That's quick.
Okay, something kind of cool here is I think now Gambit are worried about it just being like this all-in A stack. That's not the case. They're all grouped up on lane. They're trying to take Cave, and that's going to put them within range of this M4. JT makes contact first. That's the bomb now for Floppy. Oh, he makes it a double. This was one M4 in a round surrounded by USPs. Now, they're already through Cave. They're through the site. Floppy! Oh,
no
it's all 4 for him! Up to 31 kills, and Floppy will get Complexity over the finish line if he has to single-handedly. Oh,
that is
my
unbelievable.
word.
That is unbelievable.
Come on, Maui, you got to admit, like this is what we want. This is NACS, mate. This is what I wanted to see.
Man.
Beautiful scenes.
You just love to see it. The flop don't stop. That's what I have learned. Doesn't matter what team he's on, what game he switches to. He's in here right now, ready to deliver a heroic performance for Complexity. And you're right, Harry. You are absolutely right. Those 3 players in Donut Gambit thought that was an ace stack. They went right into the waiting arms of Floppy and JT right there. And Floppy, I mean, he just ate them all up one by one. Isolated the duels, hit every shot he needed to. And now it feels like Complexity, they have a little bit of life.
Yeah, I mean, dude, if that doesn't pump you up, like, what will? You know, that's not a round you're meant to win. Especially not when all the kills came in towards A. Oh, man. And if they try to go B to get revenge now, well, guess who plays here, mate? It's Floppy's domain, isn't it? A little awkward for JT. The molly wrecks him, forces him into that cave fight. But, you know, that's not the David v. Goliath story of this B bomb site. The big man, the bouncer on the door, it's Floppy, and he's still sitting pretty right now, ready to get burnt out from the cubby if there were Molotovs in play, which there isn't for Gambit. That could be a little rough. They used that one Molotov to force the fight out of JT. Ooh, duck down! Wow. Gets underneath it.
Crouching right there, just saved his life.
Dude, and you haven't even heard like a sound cue from the spam. It could lead you to assume this is clear. Don't get me wrong. Someone could have moved in during all this downtime. They even trade smokes at ramp. They try to go through this. It's going to get weird. It's going to get weird. Ooh, oh, now they heard the tag. Now they know. And Floppy doesn't care. He still finds a double. Is it all in vain, however? 10 seconds. They got to cross to get the bomb. Flash Grim off the angle, but he holds the line. Grim's turn to come alive now. And just him versus Hobbit. 5 seconds. He needs the kill, and Grim's going to win it to time if he tucks in. Hobbit! Oh, he plays him like a fiddle on the wrap round. 15-11, and it's just big moment after big moment here, Maui.
It felt like Floppy and Grim combined to do enough, but Hobbit wins the 1v2. That is such a tough blow for Complexity there. And you could see in this moment, Grim comes alive. His anchor reflexes have really just shown up there, but Hobbit, the walk around, he jumps towards Grim. Grim, he takes the bait. Hobbit reels him in, hook, line, and sinker. That is such a death blow to Complexity right now. They're using yet another timeout, but there is so little cash. They're strapped right now. Junior will have enough to buy an AWP if that's what they so elect to do. But man, you can see it right now. I mean, the Complexity camp there's a little bit of frustration after that one. All the credit to Hobbit, though, for playing it as such.
Dude, yeah, I mean, Hobbit, like, I love the way that he runs and then just starts to sneak. He's like, no, mate, I'm going to mess with your mind.
If he tries to chase, he's going to lose.
Yeah, exactly. Grim just keeps outmaneuvering him, right? I mean, dude, and it's in moments like that. Once again, remember, Hobbit's like now won 2 of these phenomenal clutches that have helped Gambit out. Whenever you see him stone cold in those 1vx moments, man, that's where you really appreciate just how much this guy truly knows. Just how well he's able to manipulate those moments.
Oh, the little bait and switch. Junior's posting out. Oh, that felt like an absolutely necessary shot for Junior to hit.
Dude, they're trying to get the AWP out. Nafany's trying to steal it away, but it's already been taken. Floppy, only one with the MP5. Not even he can make it look good.
Oh.
JT, all right, lad, all right.
There's the equalizer. This is a huge fight, though, on the site. Grim dancing around the box. Axile looking for it, and he will take him down, but there's a return.
Yeah, man, it's a little awkward. I felt like Grim so consistently lost that fight over towards A. The bomb isn't even committing to this side of the map. Nafany's called, like, I'm just going to fight here, and you take that bomb to B. He gets that kill, and now he runs away, playing the long game. JT in the 1 versus 2, he will have the realization right about now that it's not the A play. Right about now, there we go. But this is rough. There's no denying it.
There's just truly no in on this fight. JT, I mean, he's been a high ping hero. Okay.
Can you beat Shiro on 200 ping? Let's find out. JT. Bravely going when no man has gone before. And now he's gone right next to Shiro, which is not where you want to find yourself. And so Gambit, they do lock in Complexity's map pick of Ancient. It's pretty close, but a couple of swing rounds they have found for Gambit, really making all the difference. And for them, I want to draw attention to Hobbit and his clutch potential, what he's able to get away with. You know, if he didn't win those 2 rounds that he ends up putting up, I'm talking about the 1v3